Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this morning's press briefing. I want to thank you, the press, for their partnership and the strategic role you played helping to inform the Ghanaian people about the bank's monetary policy decisions. This morning's press briefing follows the meetings of the MPC, and this morning the chairman of the committee will speak to us on the decisions of the committee. As always, we'll give you the press an opportunity to ask questions at the end of the chairman's statement. We're live on Facebook, the Bank of Ghana, the Bank of Ghana website, bog.go.gh, and on YouTube, Bank of Ghana. It's time to listen to the chairman. I respectfully invite the chairman of MPC and Governor, Dr. Ernest Addison, to deliver his statement.
Thank you very much, Sami, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the media.
And welcome to the press briefing for the 120th Monetary Policy Committee meeting. The committee met this week, deliberated and assessed global and domestic macroeconomic developments and the balance of risks to the outlook. The summary of the assessment is as follows. Global growth continued at a steady pace in the second quarter of 2024, supported by stronger spending, a resilient services sector, and declining crude oil prices. However, continued weakness in the manufacturing sector, moderated growth momentum in China, cooling labor markets in advanced economies, escalating geopolitical tensions, and rising uncertainties related to elections in many countries could potentially weigh on growth prospects in the second half of 2024. The latest projections by the International Monetary Fund forecast growth to remain high. Global inflation rises, food prices, and moderating wage growth. Crude oil prices fell due to weaker than expected economic growth in China. The Food and Agriculture Organization's Global Food Price Index declined by 1.1% in August. On the cooling labor markets in advanced services inflation. Core inflation has also declined in both advanced and emerging market and developing economies. Looking to continue, albeit at a slower pace. Central banks in major advanced economies have begun. The European Central Bank and the Bank of England have all reduced their policy rates in recent months as inflation gradually approaches, supported a rebound in equity prices and led to a strengthening of portfolio flows to emerging market and developing economies in recent months. Declines in the policy rate in advanced economies is expected to result in an easing in global financial conditions in the near term. Provisional GDP data from the Ghana Statistical Service for the second quarter of 2024 point to a stronger growth outturn than expected. Real GDP grew by 6.9% in the second quarter of 2024, compared with 2.5% in the corresponding quarter of 2023 and 4.7% in the first quarter of 2024. Non-oil GDP growth was 7%, compared with 3.1% in the same period, which grew by 9.3%, having contracted by 2.6% same time last year. The services and agricultural sectors also grew. Trends in the bank's high-frequency real sector indicators point to sustained pickup in economic activity. The updated Real Composite Index of Economic Activity recorded an annual growth of 1.6% of 2023. Construction activities, consumption demand by households and firms, exports, imports, and tourist arrivals contributed to the improvement in economic activity during the period. The latest surveys conducted in August 2024
show a rebound in both consumer and business confidence, optimism about future economic conditions. Similarly, business confidence firmed up as firms met their short-term macroeconomic conditions. The survey findings were broadly in line with observed trends in Ghana's Purchasing Managers Index, which improved to 51.1 in August 2024 from 50.1 in the previous. That remains on track. This was largely supported by the still tight monetary policy stance and easing food inflation. Headline inflation in August from 22.8% in June and 20.9% in July 2024, driven mainly by food inflation. Food inflation declined to 19.1% in August from 24% in June and 21.5% in July, while non-food inflation dropped marginally to 21.5% from 21.6% in June. Inflation, which isolates prices of energy and utility items from the consumer basket, eased to 19.4%. Provisional data on budget execution from January to July 2024 indicated an overall fiscal deficit on commitment basis of 2.4 GDP. The deficit of 24.8 billion Ghana cedis was fined from domestic 24.2 billion and foreign 17.4 billion cedis respectively. The primary balance for the period was a deficit of 3.8 billion Ghana cedis, or 0.4% of GDP, against a primary deficit target of 3.5 billion Ghana cedis, or 0.3%. Showed a decline in total liquidity. Growth in M2 Plus declined to 37.1% in August 2024, relative to 40.8% in August 2023, due to a moderation in the pace of growth in net domestic assets of depository institutions. In contrast, net foreign assets of depository institutions increased significantly, reflecting a net build-up in foreign assets. The decline in broad money supply was reflected in a slower pace of growth in demand deposits in the same comparative period. Private sector credit continued to grow during the review period to 21.7%. It recorded a growth of 1.1%. On a year-on-year basis, money market interest rates broadly trended downwards. The 91.7% respectively in August, 7.84% in the corresponding period of 2023. Similarly, the rate on the 364-day instrument declined to 27.9% in August 2024 from 30.8% in August 2023. The weighted average lending rate on the interbank market increased. The rate increased to 26.84% in August 2024 over the period, declined marginally to 30.7% in August 2024 from 31.78% in August 2020, 38.7% at end August 2024 compared to 19.6% in August 2023. Both pre-tax and after-tax profits were higher in the first 8 months of 2024 relative to the same period last year. On solvency, the capital adequacy ratio of the industry stood at 10.3% in August 2024, higher than the 7.5% recorded in August 2023. With reliefs, the capital adequacy ratio was 13.8% in August 2024 compared to 14.2% in August 2023. Liquidity and efficiency ratios also improved during the first 8 months of the year and remaining positive. Despite these improvements, the NPL ratio was 24.3% in August 2024, up from 20% in August 2020, highlighting that elevated credit risk remains the primary concern for the sector's outlook. On the international commodities in 2024, crude oil prices declined by 2.1% to settle at an average price of $78.9, $409 $0.5 per ton in August, after climbing to an all-time high of $10,116.8 per ton in April 2024. In contrast, gold prices rose by 21.3% on a year-to-date basis to an average price of $2,469.39 per fine ounce on the back of geopolitical tensions and expectations of rate cuts by the U.S. Federal Reserve. The external payment position was strong in the first 8 months, $66 billion recorded in the corresponding period of 2023. The surplus was primarily driven by an increase in gold and crude oil exports. Total exports went up by 22.3% to $7.27 billion, while crude oil exports went up by 16.7% to $2.7 billion. In contrast, cocoa exports, both beans and products, in August 2024, mainly due to the challenges posed by extreme weather conditions. The total import bill increased by 14% to $10.14 billion over the same period. Of the total, oil imports went up by 19%, with international reserves continued into August 2024. Gross international reserves increased by $1.58 billion to $7.5 billion at the end of August 2024, equivalent to 3.4 months of $0.73 billion before. The higher buildup in gross international reserves was largely on account of the strong performance of the domestic gold purchase program, stabilized in recent times. This was liquidity support. From the beginning of the year to 25th September 2024, the Ghana has witnessed a slower pace of depreciation. The external environment has improved since the last MPC meeting, as government spending, a resilient services sector, and declining oil prices. Additionally, the anticipated policy easing cycle initiated by major central banks in advance the cooperative of growth. These conditions are favorable for the domestic economy. The domestic economy continues to recover, evidenced by the stronger than expected GDP outturn for the second quarter of the year. Growth in the second half of the year is also expected to be firm, supported by sustained activities in the construction sector, of credit to the private sector. The external payment position continues to improve, characterized by higher trade surplus and international reserves, complemented by external financial inflows from the IMF and the World Bank. These together have contributed to an improved balance of payments position in the first half of 2024. Stronger remittance flows and lower government external payments. In the assessment of the committee, preliminary data since the last MPC meeting held in July 2024 indicates that macroeconomic conditions have generally improved, providing impulse that is supportive of growth, while monetary conditions have remained tight and supportive of the disinflation process. Headline inflation since the first quarter has declined for the fifth consecutive month by 5.4% over the same comparative period. The process is on course. The latest forecast showed that the inflation will continue to ease towards the range target of 13 to 17% for the year and steadily track back towards the medium-term target of juncture. The committee judged the risk to inflation outlook as fairly balanced. Given these considerations, thank you.
Thank you very much. Joined our live broadcast. You watched the press briefing following the 120th MPC meetings. We want to thank some of the media houses who are streaming this press briefing live on their media portals, Ghana Web, NorvanReports, Assassin Radio. We thank you for colleagues. You heard the chairman speak on the decisions of the committee. If you require some further clarifications, I'll give you the opportunity to ask questions. It's related to the media house, very brief with a long preamble. So,
good morning, Governor. My name is George Afe from Joy FM. I want to look at the terms of the city. It's been relatively stable. We're going to see more intervention from your part since you have built up enough reserves, even for the IMF itself, to see that you can now up the support for the market. Are we going to see that from your side in terms of upping the support for the market to deal with the...
Very brief.
So, how successful has the Bank of Ghana's tiered cash reserve?
Okay, Toma. Thank you, Jennifer. Very brief.
Good morning, Governor. My name is Jennifer Ambule with the Chronicle News, the recent drought conditions and the potential need to import food to stabilize domestic supply. How does the bank plan to manage the anticipated increase in foreign exchange demand?
We recorded a trade surplus of where the pressure is coming from. Whether
Well, thank you very much. Exchange rate. And I think starting with the alarms question, which I think more, why is the city not appreciating, if you should put it that way. And I remember in the last MPC press briefing, I had explained the uniqueness of 2024 and the importance of exchange rates. So what we are seeing is a significant improvement in the fundamentals, a significant improvement in inflation, significant improvement in the build-up of the currency. So I'll go back to the same explanation that I gave in the last MPC meeting, that 2024 is a unique year. We all know that we have elections kind of behave differently in a normal of what we are seeing relates to this. Having said that, done better, and whether we will be upping that of it, that we should tell you in advance whether we will be upping our interventions on the market or not. I think that you have to trust that we have enough reserves and we have the ability to intervene in enough reserves. You've seen it for yourselves, and if it is necessary for us to increase the foreign exchange intervention on the success of the tiered reserve requirements, to get the banks those unutilized liquidity in Bank of Ghana instruments, which are more or less sterilized. And it has acted as an anchor for prices. We have seen a significant drop in inflation also. So if you look at it that way, it's been very successful. Along with that, we are also seeing a pickup in private sector credit, even though the intention was mainly focused on the liquidity management aspects. It matter whether the food imports would put pressure on the markets and thereby translate into import pressures. That's it.
Thank you, Chairman. Nanoye Maxwell.
Governor, please, has your team done any research into Cocobo's current decision not to go fully for a syndicated loan? And what do you anticipate to be the long-term impact of that?
Okay, no, yeah.
Wondering, this
came as a surprise to me and perhaps to the market. A review we did said if you are going to cut, you will be looking around 50, maximum 100. So I'm wondering, did you do this bullish cut because of the fund's concerns around the reserve ratio that you are also using to achieve inflationary objectives? Is it a case that because you are kind of not allowed to, this means to the reserve ratio that you were also using before? Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Lord Nati. My name is Lord Nati. I write for 3news.com.
Just one, please. Thank you.
Okay. So, okay, Sam, thank you. So I'd like to do a follow-up on the Societe Generale issue. So the last time you spoke about it here, you mentioned that the Bank of Ghana had written to Societe Generale to furnish you with all the...
We'll take a response.
Again, starting with somehow the last questions are the easiest to answer. The last question on the Societe Generale issue. Yes, as an update, we have been furnished with all the bidders for the shares that are being disposed of. So the bidding process is still ongoing, and hopefully when they decide on the preferred bidder, they will also let us know. Lanoye and Cocoa Board, I think that's a good question. The Cocoa Board syndicated loan, as you know, normally, so uncertainty regarding that obviously will be of concern to the Bank of Ghana. Fortunately, this year we have had this domestic gold purchasing program, which has more than compensated for our inability to raise as much resources from cocoa in the first 3 months of the year. And we are hoping that we would be able to sustain this gold purchasing program, right, to compensate for any shortfalls in outflows from cocoa. Having said that, with the brand companies, this is new. So we are all quite, waiting to see how well this financing scheme has been put into place. But we think that we have enough in terms of reserve flows from our gold exports as an insurance in case things don't go as well as expected on the cocoa side. So now, yeah, I hope you're happy with that. Then Reuters, I don't believe you. I'm glad we reduced the policy rate by 50 basis points to 100 basis points, because that's what the market was expecting. Good monetary policy committee process. So I think the decision speaks for itself. Went in macroeconomic conditions, literally everywhere. On the global side, things are improving. Growth is down, global disinflation is down, the developments, the home growth is fairly robust relative to the original assumptions. Inflation is down, the fiscal policy is on track. You look at the balance of payments, really a message of hope that we have really recovered from the debts that we went to in 2022. So I think that's the message, such a strong signaling of the monetary policy rate by reducing it by 200 of recovery of this economy.
Thank you. Last round.
Good morning, Mr. Governor. My name is NorvanReports. I report cryptocurrency. And if we are looking at just using it as a tool, that also go through that rigorous testing that the ECB went through.
Okay, Norman, thank you, Kingsley.
Okay, so I also want like increase over the period. Do you see entering Christmas very soon? Thank you.
Okay.
Given the stronger than anticipated GDP growth in recording in the first and second quarters, what is the and whether the uncertainty of election puts any joy? Seems to be right.
Sean, thank you.
So the question from Norman on cryptocurrencies, I mean, I will only say in this economy, the details will come out as that's not the central bank's function. That the growth that we are seeing is significant enough for growth, and the growth, then the threat to, inflation, the nature of the growth that we are seeing. If you read that the growth was driven by industry, driven by the mining sector. And when you deal, so it's related to the central bank domestic gold purchasing program is contributing very strongly to the growth that we are seeing. And that base effects, this growth is not about base effects. This growth is about real economic activity, which is being financed by, central bank gold purchases, as well as government expenditures on construction, which is the second highest, which recorded the second highest in terms of statistical service. The question going lately, we are not going to stop purchasing first. So I don't think that this base period is Ghana's growth. So you should carry out the conditions have improved significantly, even the exchange rate. From 2017 to 2022, the cedi moved from 4 to 6 cedis. 2022, where they're recovering very quickly, just from 2022. So I'm quite happy about the record of this Monetary Policy Committee and the work that we have done. And I think you guys need to, report accurately, on the developments on our economy. Then we close, which is to our new Ghana gold portent, and reflect by offering other active and put under pillows. We are giving you an opportunity from the domestic, and we call it the Ghana Gold, Dory Gold, dug out of 99.99 of Ghana. It will be available in 3 days. The half-ounce coin. Each coin has the packing, a transparent coin holder, and a certificate of ownership. The Ghana gold coin enables the Bank of Ghana to mop up extra Bank of Ghana bills and overnight depots for an additional avenue to invest, reap the benefits of the Bank of Ghana's domestic gold purchase program. Gold, as you all know, has been remarked as a hedge during periods of economic turbulence. We see the issuance of these Ghana assets, enabling Ghanaian residents. In the next 2 weeks, this will be available in the market to be purchased through commercial banks using the Ghana cedi, and will be priced the applicable transaction exchange rate for using the previous day closed Bloomberg daily by 9 a.m. Gold that we use for these coins, as I said, is resourced from Ghana, from traceable and responsibly mined sources, in line with Bank of Ghana's responsible and countering the financing of terrorism, safeguard gold coins is devoid. A question and answers document to provide more insight into the issuance of the Ghana gold coin. Thank you very much. The coins are here, those of you. Which one is this? This is half an ounce.
To take pictures, just very briefly.
This is the 1 ounce. A closer picture of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
continue to work together with MPC. Thank you for our viewers who join our Lord blessed. Good morning. Thank you.